It's live.
It is live. Hello, hello.
Hi, Gail.
um, so, um, hello, everyone who's out there watching now or who's watching the replay. We're so glad you're here with us tonight. I would like to welcome you to the Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. I'm Gail, that would be me, and friends. And my friend tonight is the amazing Deb Jerszyk. Did I pronounce that right, Deb?
You absolutely did. You get a
Okay.
gold star.
Woo! Ding, 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 ding. I get a point for
Yeah.
um, pronouncing your name right. So as you listen tonight and whatever, put in the chat where you're from. I see Kathy Patton's here from New Jersey. Put in the chat where you're or the comments where you're from. If you want to give a weather report, that's fine too. Because you know right now, or what you've been up to. Um, so I wanted to bring Deb onto the show tonight because Deb has a pretty amazing story. However, I know this is going to sound crazy. I don't know all of it. You know how it is when you have a story and you only tell so much because somebody else is busy talking. That'd be me, busy talking. So Sharon's here from northeastern Oregon, and Becky's here from North Carolina. Kathy says it's very hot in New Jersey. And Deb, you're here
Here
tonight.
too.
You're here tonight from Philadelphia, New Hampshire, Maryland. Where are you from?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
New Hampshire, where it was 92 degrees today?
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
So I think for us it's cold. We're starting to wear long pants again.
Wow.
Here in Idaho, at least for the morning. Um, so I brought Deb on the show. I brought Deb on the show today because, um, sh like I said, her story's interesting, hopefully inspirational. I know I have been inspired by Deb for a couple of years. I've known Deb for just over 2 years. I remember meeting her um, in what we call a CSIG, Coaches Special Interest Group. And that was in the spring of 2021. I believe I was teaching a special interest group, and I remember I thought, oh, we've got a shy one, and as I've gotten to know Deb, I realized Deb isn't shy, but like
Sometimes I am.
like all of
Yeah.
us, sometimes we have to lurk, we have to sit around and really learn to trust um, the the location that we're in before we feel safe enough. And so that's kind of how I met Deb. And I remember one night reaching out to her because I thought, oh, I want to make sure I connect with Deb. And that was like, and I think I called you, didn't I?
You did. And then
I
we got on Zoom. I
yeah,
was crying and
I
you
know you were
touched.
crying,
Yeah.
and many of us cry when we find out we're not alone, when we find out we're getting help, and all, there's so many emotions. And so, um, with that, I want you to meet Deb Jerszyk from New Hampshire. Now I know where she's from. I knew there was an in front of the letter. I was thinking
That's
New
good.
Jersey, but
Except for Oregon, guess wasn't an N.
right. So, um, Deb, one of the things that I would like you to do is I'd like you to finish the introduction that I started because I didn't give very much. So, hi, Deb.
Hi,
I'd like
Gail.
you to introduce yourself.
Okay, want my story?
I want you just to introduce yourself.
Okay, first,
Tell us who you are.
I am Deborah Jerszyk, and I live in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is about an hour north of Boston. So that's kind of where we are. And I I guess I'm really creative. I do a lot of creative things, and A lot of people know that I've had long-term depression, and those creative things helped me get it through, go through it so much. One big thing is I was a single mother living on $800 a month, and I did it with two kids. And um, I'm married to a great guy, you know, just a great guy. And he made me iced coffee before we started.
Before you started.
Yeah.
Right. I saw just before we started, you looked up and you waved.
Yeah.
He was outside at the window waving.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah,
a
checking all the
tremendous,
plants, and he's
yeah,
doing some yard. Well, he's doing some changing in our garden around our house.
right. And
Yeah.
he's been a tremendous support for you through quite a bit of stuff. So,
Yes.
Deb, one of the questions I always ask my guests that who have lipedema is, how did you find out that you had lipedema?
Oh, wow. I had never heard the word, and I was at a doctor's appointment, and she wanted me to go uh, on meds because I was overweight. And I was really confused with some of the things she was doing, at the first time. Then she's walking out the door and she looks at me. She says, "By the way, you have lipedema," and walked out the door and left me like that. I just have to drink occasionally because my mouth is dry.
That's okay. So, so she didn't tell you anything about lipedema.
Not a thing.
She didn't tell you what it was. She just said,
Not
"Oh,
a
by the way,
thing. Yeah,
you have
exactly.
lipedema."
On the way out, and I didn't even see her again. She just kind of ducked out, and I was so stunned with being told I have something and I didn't know anything.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was hard.
And
Um,
so, what did you do?
well, David and I, when I came home, we both I grabbed my iPad, he grabbed his computer, and we just started doing research about lipedema, about what it was, uh, and trying to learn. And then we came across the Lipedema Simplified
Uh-huh.
uh, website and phone number for contact and everything. And I hate making cold calls. My youngest son is just like me. I, it just takes so much trying to encourage myself in my head to do that. And
Right.
so I looked at my husband, David, and I said, "You know what? If I don't call now, I will never call." So I called the number, and Catherine answered.
Of course, because it's her personal phone number, right?
Well, I expected a secretary.
I did too. And I,
Yeah. It was like I couldn't believe it, but she was waiting for her COVID shot, and they had just called her name. So she said, "I'll call you back right away." And she did.
oh, that's
So I told her my story. I said, "I don't know a thing." And she gave me some resources. And that's how I began my journey.
wow. And was that in 2021 or was that
Yes.
earlier?
I think no, it happened like boom, boom, because I called
Oh,
Carolyn like the day after that I found out.
oh yeah. And if she was already getting a COVID shot, it had to be 2021
Yes.
because that's when the COVID shots came out.
Yeah.
So, so, so you called the phone number, and
Mm-hmm.
very few people realize that it's her personal phone number.
Oh my goodness.
And I did the same thing. I said, I would like to talk to somebody, right? And and she called me. It was like, because I had seen stuff about Dr. Seo, but I'm like, she called me, not like you said, not a secretary,
Right.
you know, um, not a community manager. Nobody like that. Just
No.
Catherine. Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so you said Catherine gave you some resources. What kind of resources did she give you?
I told her the story of how I found out, and um, I had a bypass, gastric bypass,
Right.
and I lost more weight before doing a low carb diet than I did after the bypass. I lost 140 pounds.
Wow.
Only 20 of it was after my surgery.
Wow.
And I was eating the same, if not less.
Right.
So they didn't know what to do with me. So they said, well, we're going to send you to the medical side instead of the nutrition side. I had no idea what that meant. Not a clue.
No.
And so then I got this doctor who wants to put me on meds, and of course I found out later, um, when I found out about lipedema, and I found out that part of it is, um, a lot of people with lipedema tend to be overweight, and it's fat that you can't get rid of. And
Right.
so that was eye opening for me,
Right.
really eye opening. Um,
And do you find I probably but do you feel like in your own body that the location of the lipedema fat just feels heavy, like concretey or just full, or does it feel like all the other parts of your body? Like me, when we talk about the lipid that we don't get rid of this fat, that we can't lose
right.
this fat in our legs, right, or arms or whatever. I think about how heavy it feels, and I always wonder, am I am I really truly heavier than I look? Because I always feel like I'm
Yeah.
heavier than I look, right? Because this is one heavy
Yeah.
body.
It took me
So,
years to look in a mirror.
oh, true.
Yeah. And I finally did it because one of the CSIGs, um, that was about getting comfortable with ourselves.
Oh, yeah,
It was a really, really good one. And that started a journey that got me to looking in front of the mirror at myself. So I
yeah.
did.
Well,
But it doesn't feel any different. I just
no,
know it's there, and that makes a difference.
yeah, that's true. Well,
Yeah.
I remember when I first met you, like you said, you had a hard time looking in the mirror and things like that. But I remember first meeting you in 2021, and you wouldn't even look into the camera on Zoom. We
I
always
wasn't aware of that, Gail, at all, that I
we
was
always
doing that. Yeah.
yeah, we always saw the side of your face if you had your camera on. And I've seen a tremendous change in you since you've become a member of the tribe and since you've been working with Lipedema Simplified. And what do you think is responsible? I mean, what do you think has enacted that change, that
I
growth?
think it's a couple things. One is information, and information given in a very positive way, so you don't end up feeling bad about yourself. And another one is the support. Sometimes if I would express something, and I tend to cry, I'm just that kind of person. And people in the text and the comments would just say, "It's okay, we're here for you." Things like that. And that just, I actually would take screenshots of that so I could remember, because it was so encouraging.
Right,
Um, and all the C6, I've learned so much more, and I've gotten to know you and Catherine and Leslyn and now Siobhan and Julie. I've
right,
gotten to know you all pretty well, and you make it comfortable, all of you, to be here, and
right.
that is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, it's really kind of amazing how the sense of community and the sense of um, belonging
Yeah,
makes a great difference. I find that in in today's world, when we're on Facebook and all those other
yeah.
things, we have to be careful because we feel like we're going to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, when we get on, I think, in the 3 years that I've worked with Lipedema Simplified, and I've done these, Zoom meetings and all these things that we do. I think there's only been one time when I've had to go in and tell somebody, you know, think about another way of saying that. Like I've had people, one person reach
Yeah.
out to me and say, that kind of hurt my feelings. And a lot of it comes just because so many of us have been here and
Yeah.
we've heard, you know, we've heard so much, we might feel like we're experts and we can't believe people don't understand this. And so we get a little sharp tongued, but that doesn't seem to happen
No,
with
it
this
doesn't.
group. It seems like we all understand. We are all in this together, and we've all been through some misunderstanding, and we've all felt the the negative
Yeah.
um the
But
negative
it always seems to be caught, not caught, but boom, it's recognized.
right, right.
When it happens, and so it gets taken care of easy.
Yeah. And so I do want to share a comment from Kathy Patton. She says people with lymphedema, and I'm assuming she also means with lipedema because we have both, um, possibly, are the only ones who understand what you're going through, how the pain is different, how you feel uncomfortable, how you can't do things. Even with the weight, they think you're not trying. And
Oh,
right? And
I
here you
so
are.
I had an experience at a class reunion. This guy married one of my best friends, and so I've gotten to know him well, and he's like really into fitness, and he's also a black and white thinker. It's either this or it's this. um, we were talking in a group and catching up and everything, and at the end it was just my friend and me. um, and so I talked to him. He looks straight ahead. His face is like stone, and he didn't say or move or do anything, no matter what I said. And
Right,
there's so many things I've said in my head that I wish I had said to him.
right,
And I felt, well, I was being judged in a
right.
very harsh way. And that happens. And it was really hard. And, um, it's in the same vein as the physical therapist experience that I had.
Uh, yeah, why
Yeah.
don't you share that with us? Because that has had a better outcome. But
Yeah.
can, can you share that story with us tonight?
Yeah, I can. I needed knee surgery really bad, but because of my weight, I don't know how many orthopedists I went to. One of them just opened the door, looked at me, and said, "Come back to me when you lose, such and such pounds," and then closed the door. And I was done. That was it. And
Right.
so then, for some reason, I decided to make another appointment. By then, I was using a walker, and I was crying when I had to use that walker. And my friend who was helping me, she's a nurse, and she just looked at me and she said, "There's no room for an ego when you need a walker."
That's true. That's
Yeah, and that's resonated so much. And so I ended up getting surgery because how damaged my knee was. The orthopedist afterwards said it was the second worst knee that he's ever worked on.
wow.
So my recovery has been really hard. Um, I worked on range of motion first to get that back, and that went fast. Then I needed strengthening, and so he put in an order with the same uh, physical therapist, and I walked up to him. He said, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, you have Dr. Garber gave you an order." And he kind of looked. He says, "I can't do anything for you. There's nothing I can do. You're just going to end up in a wheelchair." That's what he said to me.
And then, so what did you do?
Cried.
I
I
know that.
cried. And one thing I've learned since then is that when you start crying, you don't hear anything else.
Right,
So I didn't hear anything else he said. And I just walked out of there so ashamed and feeling like I was this little, you
right.
know? So I told my doctor what happened. Well, she's um, oh, anyway, she's good. She knew about lipedema.
Right.
Um, she put in an order for another place, and I worked with them for 4 months. I'm still exercising. Um, and then I just finished having um, an episode with the nerves coming out of my lower back. And it turned out that a lot of the nerves for my right knee, my right leg, were being squeezed by the arthritis. I woke up one morning. I couldn't feel anything. My leg felt heavy. It felt tingly, even though I couldn't feel anything. It was tingling.
Right.
And I could barely move. It was really, really weak. And so, I did end up avoiding surgery. But now the only thing left is weakness in my lower foot. It just kind of slowly went away. But, the thing with that is that I can't drive yet because my foot is not strong enough in my ankle to go from the gas pedal to the brake.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
So
it's a long journey.
it is a long journey, but once you got over the impact that the negative physical therapist had on you, because I remember you were just devastated. I remember you were talking to us at one of the meetings,
Right.
and you were just devastated, and we're like, you've got to find another physical therapist
Your
because
encouragement, Gail, and everybody made a huge difference. It
yeah,
helped me to go on because I didn't
right.
think I could.
No, because we get told over and over again, right? That
Yeah.
and basically they treat us like it's our fault. And
Yes.
so we have to advocate for ourselves, and sometimes we just get exhausted advocating for ourselves
Yeah.
because that seems like that's all we're doing. And
Yeah.
so you continued on and you found hope, you found another physical therapist,
I sure did.
and you got a lot stronger. So
I'm
what do
still
you
exercising about 45 minutes, 6 to 7 days a week.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have to do that because
Right.
it's just, and my knee is letting go a lot less.
Yeah.
So, which
So
helps.
right, because with lipedema, um, it already makes it difficult to exercise, often makes it difficult to exercise.
Right.
And now you have this other you have a it's compounded because you have the knee situation also.
Right.
So, Deb, when we get together in meetings, we have several different things that we do together, and one of the things is called wisdom circles,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Will you share a little bit about your experience with our
Uh,
wisdom circles?
it has been awesome. Um, I'm with a small group and we're dealing with the emotional side of lipedema. And the two things that I researched and studied and gave a presentation on, there were two things. One was caregivers. I have been so passionate about that because I think that a lot of us need to be helped,
Hmm.
depending on where we are in this process. And I really think that if we understand what the life of a caregiver is, I think it'll increase our knowledge of their life and our life. And I think it'll take that bond, which ends up usually being close because you're dealing with very vulnerable areas in your life.
Right.
It really strengthens that bond. So I did that one, and gosh, I spent hours and hours doing research. And then the other one was a lot more fun. I did I did the effect of laughter on people.
Right.
Yeah, and I ended up researching jokes and researching. I mean, I couldn't believe how much just laughter does for us. You know,
Right.
it helps our heart, it helps our immune system, it produces, you know, some of the feel good hormones in your brain. And then I came up, this is my hard copy, somebody else typed it for me, but this is over 150 jokes.
No way.
Yeah.
So, so Deb, so these small groups that you're working in with us in the wisdom circles,
Yes.
they have a purpose. I mean, we went through in wisdom circles, which is through Lipedema Simplified. It's one of our projects that we work on, and we just threw we just threw ideas at a board, right? We had a question and we just started throwing ideas at a board, and then we organized it.
Yeah, because the
And
question was, what do we need if we
what
have lipedema?
yeah, what do we need? What do we know about? What do we know and what do we need, right?
Yeah.
And and so we started. I know that I was part of a small group with that, and we worked on creating a postcard
Yeah.
to hand to people that says, "Do your legs look like this?" Right? So we created a postcard, um, and or do your patient's legs look like this? Now that you know you have lipedema, what do you do, right?
Right.
And so what you were working on is, so that was kind of like our first project, like how do we get this out there? And then the
Yeah.
one that you're working on is the emotional aspect.
And boy, we've worked on it a long time because we started in July and
Wow.
we're still
Yeah.
working. Yeah, it's, you know, one project. Well, one thing I need to say is you get really close with this group. You really bond because you're looking at the same things. And we have emails going all the time. You know, we're emailing the whole group when we email. And it's just, you know, you never.
Sorry, Guy, you need to call the demo team.
you,
Sorry, you need to call a demo team, honey. I'm on a broadcast. So here, you can use my phone. Sorry, hon. That was
real day events.
They called my number and said, "So what we have we had a valve uh, fail in our bathroom, and there's a demo team." And they just
Oh,
called me.
okay.
I'm sorry, everybody. Um, thumbs up that we get our bathroom
Yeah.
our
Well,
bathroom fixed. Okay, go ahead.
one of the not final, because one of the projects we're working on is kind of a care package for
Right,
people who are having a really hard time and putting some things physical. And we looked at the five senses and made sure that what's in there represented the five senses. And for right now, I can't remember a thing that's in there. Um, and then we also have some stuff online, some links that they can follow.
right.
One thing we're putting together is a joke book with all my jokes that
Okay,
I found, and they're all public domain. That was really important.
very
Um,
important.
yes, yes, yes. And so, uh, you know, we're talking about setting up hotlines, you know, for people who need help. We're
Right.
talking, I mean, it's just amazing. You know,
Yeah,
one person is going to have the directions on how to juggle with scarves. So there's one thing that's going in the box.
right.
And, you know, it's apparently really fun.
Well, it is. And what's amazing, like you said, is a hotline,
Yeah.
having a hotline. And right now, the hotline seems to be Catherine.
Yeah,
Like you said,
exactly.
she made a phone call and it was Catherine.
Right.
And Catherine can't man a hotline for everybody
No.
who has lipedema. And so the smaller community is trying to find a way to make sure that we're here
Right.
and we can reach out to people who need help. And for right now, I know that we get a lot of people from Facebook who are reaching out to us, private message
Yes.
us, and things like that. But we are trying to make sure that if you have lipedema, and you need support, that the community that we have right now is there for you. Not
Right.
just one person, but there's a community for you.
Right. One thing we did too, which I think was wise, is came up with parameters for what you should not talk about, where you should keep the conversation, because we're not giving medical advice,
Right.
or anything like that. So, and one other thing, gosh, now I just forgot. This is the real me, forgetting things and then remembering things later, and there's nobody to say it to.
Right.
Yeah. Um, Stories, that's what it is. People are submitting just 2 to 3 minutes of stories about their experience, and we're trying to get as many people's stories submitted, as possible, and
Right.
putting that as part of the either the care box or the whatever you call it, the
It's a care,
online.
yeah, it's a care package. And so you guys are developing a way to have a care package, a physical
Yes.
care package that is shipped to people.
Right.
And of course, um, there's got to be some type of fee. We can't cover the shipping costs, can we?
Uh, we were talking about, we talked to Catherine about maybe doing some kind of fundraiser, letting people know what's going
Right.
on, to help pay for the shipping. Because,
Yeah.
you know, um, the person who's basically kind of the head moderator of our group, she's been handling that part of it. And she broke down the cost with what size box. And, it is expensive.
Right.
Um, and that's part of why we're doing a web page with links.
Right.
The first link will be, they'll get it, with the care package. They'll
Right.
be told where to go.
Yeah. And so this is still in the works, of course,
Yes.
and it's all done by our community. It's just part of our gift, um, of love. One of the things about wisdom circles, it's what Dr. Carmody, he's our medical advisor consultant at Lipedema Simplified. And one of the things that he always says is that the wisdom is in the patient,
Yeah.
and that the wisdom is in the community. And we have discovered a great deal of wisdom. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to you'll be able to meet Dr. Carmody, everybody, um, in one of our
He's great.
in one of our upcoming events. It's called the Heart to Heart event. And so I do need to let everybody know that the Heart to Heart event is in October. It's the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And I'm going to put the link to that in the comments. Deb, have you gone to any of our Heart to Heart events?
Yeah. Well, you mean with the CSIGs?
No, the symposiums.
Yes, I've
The
gone to everyone since I've joined.
Okay. And what do you find what do you find special about those?
Oh, there's so much there, and you find things that really, you look at it and you say, I need to know this. I can use this in my life. And one simple example is how to breathe and how to, because sometimes I have panic attacks and I can breathe my way through them. And, about like meditating and ways to calm myself, because this can get really stressful.
You can. You
It
can.
can get really stressful.
Yeah, and one of the I have not been to all of the Heart to Heart events. I missed one of them because I was on a cruise. But anyway, hey, yeah, anyway, last year. But one of the things that I love about the Heart to Heart events is we get to talk to people. It's not like you sit and listen to a webinar on your headphones while you're cooking dinner, right?
Right.
This is like you get in there, and and we might have a guest speaker, and we listen to the guest speaker, and then they break us out into rooms. Like there might be two
Oh,
of us in a room discussing things.
that's the
And it,
best. That is the best addition to those symposiums, to the heart to heart.
right, because we didn't used to do that. We started
Yeah.
doing this coming one in October will be our third one, that the third heart to heart. And then I guess we've done 4 events this way. The first one was Lipedema Awareness Month boot camp, and that was in 2021.
Yeah.
Is when we did we 2021. Oh my
I
gosh,
don't know because I
no,
don't.
2022,
Right.
because
That's what I was gonna say.
oh my gosh, I'm a year back, because it's 2023 right now, right? I missed a year. But one of the things that has happened with them is we've discovered that the wisdom is in the patient, the wisdom's in the community, and we learn a lot from each other.
Oh, absolutely. And
And
not only that, but like you said earlier, we're not alone. It is so
right,
nice to be part of a group that tells you, I mean, we'll even say it outright, you are not the only one.
right.
You know, that
Amen.
support is
And
worth so much.
it's then so often we have people say, because we'll have a breakout room, we'll have a breakout session, and we have people say to us, I've gotten more out of that 10-minute breakout session. I've made more connections, and I've gotten more out of that 10-minute breakout session than I've gotten like in the last year out of all the
Well, yeah,
just the stuff we listen to, because we're actually making the connection. I mean, it would be just like you and me talking, right? We get into a breakout room and discuss
yeah,
something. And then we go, oh, did you hear Leslyn say this or Dr. Carmody say that? And how, then we
yeah.
discuss it.
Usually there's a topic that we're given.
Yeah, there is. And we open up with a question or something like
Yeah,
that. And it is such a valuable way of doing a virtual event, because this is
yeah.
all virtual. We don't have a physical space, right? We're all coming from our homes to each other. So I put the heart to heart event registration there. But I do need to share one other thing. We're having a webinar tomorrow, a free webinar. Um, and it's a pretty interesting topic. It's called um, Lipedema, the mother of our species. And um, it's by Leslyn Keith, Dr. Leslyn Keith. And it's tomorrow afternoon or evening, wherever you are,
Yeah.
right? Um, and it's pretty interesting, because she's like, there's gonna be a lot about lipedema that you might not know about. So I'm putting that in the comments too. Let me see if here, I'll pop this up here so everybody can see it. September 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Lipedema, mother of our species. And there's a lot of questions about, if 11% of those of us, women have lipedema, there
Yeah.
must be something to be said. I mean, that's a large amount. There must
Especially when you consider the medical community hardly knows anything.
Right, right. So that's a huge amount, um, because with that, you think, why is it still in there? And it appears to be genetic, right? And so, and you wonder, why is this still here?
And it's
How did
mostly women.
And it's mostly women, right? So, um, so there's some questions to be asked, and I'm sure that Leslyn will have some answers. Um, Winetta says, Winetta says, I missed the boat again. I knew there was something I forgot to do. I never had kids. Well, even still, even if a person doesn't have kids, we still end up with lipedema, right?
Yeah.
So it's something to be thought about.
Hey,
Let me
Gail.
see if there's any other questions I have. Go ahead, Deb.
Well, one of the things I want to say is because I studied the whole effect of laughter. You laugh so much. You must have so many endorphins going through through your body. I mean, I just love it because it makes me laugh, and that's one of the things was to go toward the laughter when you're at a party or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I can tell you a lot of times my laughter is nervous laughter. It was my
They said that counts.
oh, good, good.
Yeah, you're all set.
So, so one of the things that we do have some questions on here, and I do have to tell you, I'm going to pop them up. Um, is it better to have 40, level 40 or 48 air compression for the compression pumps? And Marissa, I can tell you, I can't answer that. I don't have um, compression pump knowledge, and that's something that you need to discuss with your lymphatic therapist. If you do not have a lymphatic therapist, um, you can find one by going to your the lymphatic association in your town. I'm going to put an email of 80. She is a lymphatic therapist and she's a coach with us. It takes me a while to put her address in there, but I'm giving you her 80's email address, and you can ask her questions about um, compression pumps and compression garments and MLD and all those things. She's happy to answer any questions. I stuck it um, in the comments, and it looks like it only showed up in YouTube. So, oh, there it is. It's also in Facebook. I see it now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's 80 ADIE at lipedema-simplified.org. And for everybody else who's out there who has those types of questions, please reach out to her. You can schedule. She'd have you schedule an appointment with her. She can answer questions via email. She can schedule one-on-one consultations. Let's see if there's something else in here that I need to answer.
Can I tell a joke while you're looking?
You can tell a joke while I'm skimming the question.
Okay. One of the things that's happened since this is I have a couple of friends who are um, messaging me jokes. And this is one of them. When I went to the beekeeper to buy bees, I wanted 12 bees, but he gave me 13. And I said, why? Anybody have a guess?
I don't know. Let me see what the. Okay, so you're asking our audience. I went to the beekeeper, and I asked for 12 bees, but he gave me 13.
And you asked why.
Why? Julie Rosa, do you know why? Because Julie Rosa.
Me. Yeah.
Anybody
The
out
re-
there know why we got 13 bees?
it was a freebie.
Oh, one was a freebie.
Yeah, I just got that one texting. And I have one other one that I think is like one of those upper echelon. Yeah. This was his. What happened when a frog was parked in a no parking zone?
What happened when a frog, 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 was
Correct.
in a
Parked
in
in a
a
no
no
parking
in a
zone.
no parking zone? You got me.
He got towed away.
Oh, that's bad. That
I
one
know it
got
is,
towed.
but you're
It's like
still
you got
laughing.
towed. I got it. It was towed away. Everybody knows this except me.
Yeah.
Towed.
I have a friend, and actually, it's the husband of the one I got the bee joke from. Um,
Oh
I just think of him as a walking, talking joke machine
my God.
because he,
You'll have to
yeah,
send the bee joke one to Fiona. Fiona
yeah.
O'Brien is our resident beekeeper from our resident beekeeper from New
She's
Zealand.
great. She's
Oh my
great.
gosh. Uh, Anyway, I want to say hi to some of the people who are here, so I'm going to call out some names. I'm always so grateful that everybody who shows up shows up. We have Kathy Patton from New Jersey, and Becky is here from North Carolina. Sharon's here from Oregon. Juanetta's here from Alaska, Anchorage. She says it's 59 degrees Fahrenheit, light breeze. There may be termination dust in them thar hills. Oh, I don't know what that means. Donna's here from New Hampshire. Kristen, hi, Kristen. She's here from Northern California. Julie Stewart, who you're working with on these projects,
Hi,
um,
Julie.
is here from North Carolina. And then there's our resident jokester, Julie Rosa. She's from from the infamous Lurker in Camarillo, California. Julie's a riot. Vanetta says you look great, Deb. Lisa
Oh,
Angel's here
thank
from.
you. Thank you. I've been
Um,
having too many bad hair days lately, so that's
oh, your
nice.
hair looks fabulous. I know you're concerned about it. Lisa Angel's
Yeah.
here from Iowa, and Eileen Navarro is here from Puerto Rico. It's always good to see you, Eileen. Let's see, and then we had Marissa, and I'm not sure where Marissa is from, but Miss Marissa Bellinger, she's here. Let's see. Kristen Wagon says, a merry heart does good
Yeah,
like
I
a
saw that.
medicine. Laughter is truly the best medicine. Um,
And she's 100% right.
and she is. Winetta says, slow and gentle is always better.
Oh,
Um,
termination dust equals snow, Gail.
oh!
I just saw that. I thought I'd inform you.
I don't want snow yet. Winetta says, a bonus bee or a freebie is always good. Baker's dozen.
Dozen, yeah.
The baker's dozen. I'm sure.
That's how I type, so you're not alone.
Oh my gosh, you guys. And Karen's here from Michigan. Kristen says your hair looks good, Deb.
Thanks. Thanks,
Maris
Kristen.
here from Pennsylvania. So, and look, Mary Lee, hi, Mary Lee Mingle is here. I believe that's Mary Lee Mingle. She is here from Boise, Idaho. I met her this summer in June. I love to tell this story. This summer in June, actually, the summer before the summer, May, someone suggested that we have in-person get-togethers.
Yes.
And so what we did is we said, okay, Gail, you have one. Catherine, you have one. Siobhan, you have one. Somebody else is going to have one. Julie or somebody like that. So there's like going to be 4 or 5. And we were just going to hold one a weekend where we're going to call them tribers at the table. So I think we started out with like 5, and we were discussing it. And the next thing we know, we ended up with 18. Because what we
That's
would
so
do,
cool.
it was wonderful. We started
Yeah.
talking about it, and we started talking about it on our evening broadcast that we do. Right? We do 4 of these a week, and this one's mine. I'm claiming it. But we got together. We said, well, where can we go in our hometown? And we're going to send out an invite to everybody that we're going to meet. We picked a weekend, and this all happened in June in Lipedema Awareness
Yeah,
Month.
there was a list of places, so if you could go to which one
Right.
was near you.
we could. And we had them in Australia. We had them in New Zealand. We had them in Canada. And we had them in the United States. And I don't know if we had them in Puerto Rico or not. I can't remember because they were coming in so fast. Anytime somebody wanted to get together, they said, "Hey, I'll host one in Texas. I'll host one in Boston. I'll host one in Florida." And we just started hosting them, and we had these small group
It was
get
so fun.
togethers,
It
and it
was
was.
great.
Now you didn't host one, did you?
No, I was in the run with the one with Catherine.
Uh
We
huh.
all met in Cambridge at a Panera Bread and
Yeah.
had so much fun. And when you get to give real hugs, oh,
Oh, I
it's
know.
so great.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
You can say whatever you want, Deb.
Okay, Juanetta, thank you for bringing up Norman Cousins. For some reason, when I did my presentation, I totally forgot to mention him. And I'm glad you did because it's, I think it's a really important story. And if anybody wants to know what Norman Cousins did, look at her comment or Google him.
Yeah, Winetta does bring up Norman Cousins.
Yeah.
We um a few years back, I have to say, I can't remember anymore. We did 100 Happy Day Challenge, and it was all based on learning to laugh and find joy. And so we actually had Dr. Madan Kataria, and he would do laughter yoga with us. Brenda Gold did laughter yoga with us. And I will tell you, I was, I'd be exhausted. It was like having a total body workout doing laughter yoga, but I would feel so, so good. And I know that with Norman Cousins, he basically recovered. Um,
Yeah, she has it
and
right here.
yeah, and so look up Norman Cousins, and then and don't ever, it's like it's like never shy away from laughing if you can
Right.
help it,
Yeah,
right?
there's short-term effects. There's some that come a little later, and there's long-term effects if you
Yeah,
keep it up. Yeah, and I thought that was impressive. I mean, one of the long-term effects is it can really help your heart, your physical heart.
yeah, yeah.
Your other heart, the group helps with that.
So that's something maybe I need to discuss with my husband is about laughter yoga because he just had open heart surgery in May, and so
Yeah, there
maybe I
you
need to
go.
discuss it. Yeah, say, okay, guy, come on, let's do this. Um, so anyway, we've been on this little thing for 53 minutes, Deb. It's not like we can never figure out what to talk about. We talk about everything, as people um, can tell that when I call it Lipedema Wellness Conversations, we're having a conversation, and I'm so grateful that Deb came tonight.
I
And
was
I
really
needed,
nervous.
yeah, I know you were, Hannah.
Just say, hi, David. Hi, Candy. Gave them the links. David's my husband. He
Uh,
better be watching.
yeah. Well, if not now, I do want to say, those of you who want to give Deb some lovin', you can hit the heart. It looks like this. If you don't know what a heart looks like, or you can hit a thumbs up, or whatever it is. Just send her some lovin'. And like Marissa says, I love this group. Thank you all for everything you do, and this group
Yeah,
loves you. We really do enjoy the work that we do. It's done as a community. Of course, we do have the head of the world, Catherine Sayo,
really.
um, our founder and CEO. Leslyn's our research director of research. Siobhan's our research specialist. I'm the community manager. But I will tell you, when we say it takes a village, it takes the whole world. It takes the whole world. And we are going to find solutions to this. We are already finding solutions.
Which
And
is cool.
We are learning as fast as we can. We're bringing you information, and our community is also bringing as much information as they can, as fast as they can. So,
Everybody who said hi or good to see you, thank you.
yeah, it is
And
good.
thanks for being here, all of you.
And Kristen, we're so glad that Kristen says that she loves that this was a blessing. Um, and we're both amazing and gentle and kind.
I should
And
take a picture of that and send
I
it to
know,
all to my kids and my husband.
screenshot that one, right? I know.
Yeah.
And thank you, Marissa. We're grateful that we can share hope with you. At the end of every one of my broadcasts, I always ask my guests to to please share a message that they would like to see echoed around the world. And so, Deb, what message do you have to share with us tonight?
I guess it's, when we come to a point in life that we've learned we have lipedema, there's so many other things going on in our life. And then there's this one thing, and that's when it feels heavy. That it feels like a burden, and you just never know where you're going to find information, how you're going to know what it is. And as a member for about 2 years now, the burden is less because of this community, because I know even what to search for, I know who to contact, and all the work I've done in groups has been incredible. So do research if you're interested in something, because it makes a big difference. And the best thing of all is don't forget to laugh.
Yeah, thank you so much. And with that, thank you so much, Deb, for being here. I enjoy I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy laughing with you. And I know that our community has loved this too, as they've shared with
Me
us. So
too.
with that,
Yeah.
ladies, gentlemen, everybody who's out there listening and watching us, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.